The left side of your offensive line, I told you about that last week, with your injured guys coming back. Is there any chance that either one of those will play, or the left side?
Mid-straight.
Straight.
Mid-straight will definitely play. And we'll sort out whether he starts or not here,
Okay.
probably after tomorrow's practice. McCluskey will be a backup. Simkovich will start at left guard. But they both, as I can see, Pat definitely playing in the game also.
Because they just got so far behind.
They did, and they did get behind, and to the guys that got the opportunities to have those repetitions when they were out, they did a nice job with them. And warrants, Paul Simkins certainly warrants starting this game. There's no question.
Now that brother got Alexander, he's been fighting a lot of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
How's he coming back?
He's coming back. He's day to day right now. So he did not practice yesterday, and we'll see where he is at today when we go out there. But we have some depth at tailback. He will play in the game. My anticipation is that Broderick will play. But the opportunity for him to be out just means more reps for some other guys.
Will he start? Will he start?
What?
Will he start?
Don't know that yet. That's part of what has to be determined.
You had a couple injuries at that tailback spot. Are those over with now?
Well, yeah, because Juwan Chisholm missed some time in there during training camp, but he's been full speed now for for a week and a half, clearly. And then Carl Bosick missed a couple of days when he got dinged. That's a position that you have to have a number of guys in your depth chart at, because they're going to carry the ball and they're going to pick up pass blitzes, and they're going to be in contact. They're getting full contact every play.
I mean, obviously you guys had a quarterback battle with Clayton and Patrick. Clayton winning. You guys going to be trying to get both of them reps throughout the early part of the game, or?
Our plan is right now that Clayton is the quarterback. Clayton is going to play. I won't say that Patrick won't play, because maybe there will be a scenario that he does go in and play. But right now we have no rehearsed scenario for that.
Just break down Ohio State a little bit. With the quarterback situation.
Well,
it's weird.
It's a very, very, very talented football team. With a bunch of five-star recruits and highly recruited guys. They've done a great job recruiting the state of Ohio. Certainly have a lot of depth at multiple positions. And I think both quarterbacks are probably a little bit different. Bowserman is 26 years old and was a minor league baseball player. He's a experienced player. I say that he's not experienced in the quarterback market, but he's an experienced young man. I mean, he's a man, and he's been through their system for a number of years. Braxton Miller is a young man, had a tremendous high school career, and obviously, I guess, is doing well for them here at quarterback. So, but they're two different styles, I would think. So, in the opening game of a season, you have to prepare for a lot of things, because teams have a whole off season to research themselves and to research other things and decide, well, okay, I like how we did this, but let's try to do this way. Certainly, we've done that, and I'm certain that Ohio State's done that also. So you have to probably have a larger repertoire, inventory on offense and defense to be able to go into a game with. You prepare for a lot in training camp, then you narrow it down more for a game plan, but your opening game plan is probably a little bit more. You have more time to practice it, and a little bit more to be able to prepare for the unknowns when it comes into a season. Jordan Hall is a very good player at tailback, shifty, quick, fast. Mike Brewster, I remember him when he was in high school in Edgewater in Orlando, and very, very good, one of the best centers in the country. Certainly they are a well-coached offensive group, and on defense, Simon is a tremendous player. I remember him in high school, Storm Klein at linebacker, and Andrew Sweat and Etienne Sabino. Those are all guys that I remember that when I was at Notre Dame. So they have a very fast group, very good group. They do a lot of multiple things, and we got to make sure, obviously, that we're buttoned down our assignments, knowing what to do, and being on top of our game. As I've stated previously, there will be no ease into our season as we start, but I also felt that gave us great focus and urgency during training camp.
Have you talked to the team? Obviously, they're going to be beyond motivated with the coaching situation, the quarterback situation. ESPN, I mean, there's a
No,
lot of
they know,
national attention.
they know we're on ESPN.
Okay.
And other than that, and I'm certain our guys read the papers and we're on the internet, and I don't think I had to spend much time on that. But it's not really, we concern ourselves with the schemes of the other teams and the other team's personnel as it relates to us preparing for that game. And then we concern ourselves with how we have to improve and how we have to attack it. Everything other than that, that's peripheral stuff, and that has no effect on our preparation whatsoever.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about your defense? I know it's a young secondary. You got a couple new kids in there. Have they really jumped out and played?
You know, Bray Ford has done a nice job. You'll see him on special teams. I mentioned him as a true freshman. He'll play in the game. Devontae Morgan, really the last 10 days has really surged and done really well for us. Josh Richmond and Manley Waller probably in training camp have played as well as they've played since I've been here. Done a really, really good job for that. You know, and Emmanuel Larte's kind of grabbed hold a little bit of that boundary corner spot with Anthony Holmes being dinged up. Now, Anthony's practicing and at this time, you know, full speed, but Manuel's done a nice job there. But this is still going to be his first action, real action in the game for him. And then at the other safety spot, L.T. Smith, and we've had Seth Cunningham work there and corner to provide us some internal depth in the secondary. But this will be L.T.'s first action. Seth did play some as a freshman last year, but this will be his most extensive action. We have 76 players on scholarship on our team. 46 are freshmen or sophomores by class, either redshirt or pure. So we're going to bring a relatively young football team into the season for ourselves. And so we're going to have to continue to get those young guys to grow and play, and there's nothing like game experience to help them do that.
What about the JC kids? I know that you brought them, you couldn't bring them in for the spring. Have they adapted pretty quickly to what?
Well, J.D. Griggs, John Griggs, is in our 2 deep at defensive end, and he'll play quite a bit. He's essentially in a 3-man rotation with Nico Capone and Hassan. So he'll play quite a bit, and he's been really great addition to us, really good addition. And A.J. Price had just been slowed because he had an injury issue from the summer that slowed the beginning of his training camp. So he's still in a little bit of the catch-up mode at the receiver position. But pleased with both those guys. Pleased with Vinny Rizzo, who's a backup on the offensive line. Obviously, Clayton's our starting quarterback. So those 4 junior college players that we signed a year ago, all 4 will contribute, I think, in very good ways, and at times big ways, for our team this fall.
Looks like up front defensively, you guys got quite a bit of depth, 7, 8 guys going.
Well, we have certainly more depth than we had a year ago. Hassan has a number of starts, and Nico Capone played quite a bit last year, and he was a true freshman, so now he's more mature, he's stronger. It's his 2nd year in the program. Dan Marcoux has a bunch of starts under his belt. Now you factor into James Harvey, who a year ago was remaking his body, which he did since the season ended. So he really was a guy that just played sparingly last year. And now you factor in an Orrin Wilson into the mix that's a 3-year Big Ten starter. Now as a guy. So a year ago, John Griggs wasn't on our team, Orrin Wilson wasn't playing, James Harvey is a lot different player, and then we'll have 2 freshmen there, in Isaiah Williams and DeJour Morris, and Phil Tonga also is a guy that could see some snaps. So I think we're certainly much deeper along the front than we were a year ago, no question.
I know you and I talked a little bit about it the other day briefly, but offensive line-wise, depth on that.
Well, the depth is different than our defensive line depth because our depth is the younger guys. Some guys that, Andrew Bohans, the Michael Leos, the Travis Schweitzers, those guys are all freshmen. A couple of them are true freshmen. So that gives you depth for practice. But we're probably, in our minds, about 8 deep for a game, because there's some guys that might travel that you would probably like to redshirt if you could as you go through the season. But we have to see if that plays. Now for practice, we were able to do things in practice yesterday that we weren't able to do at any time a year ago. We were able to run 2 inside drills simultaneously against scout teams. We were able to run 2 7-on-7s against scout teams simultaneously, and then still do our scout periods against the opponent. We could never come close to doing that a year ago. A lot of that's to the number of guys we injected in the program scholarship-wise, but also to the number of guys our coaches injected into the program from a non-scholarship-wise. Our non-scholarship program right now, our 12-man program, is paying great dividends for our team to be able to prepare for a game, and that's something we want to continue to grow each and every year with our program. So if we can, depending on how the season goes from a depth standpoint, an injury standpoint, if we continue to practice like that, particularly on a Tuesday of game week, then I think our team will continue to get better with that as we go also.
Coach, any of those non-scholarship kids look like they may help to
Gary Ransom, number 47, is a true freshman from Zanesville, Ohio, that will be traveling with us and will be in the depth on special teams and has really done a nice job for us. Robert Stein is still in the mix as a place kicker situation, as is TJ Marchese, but Robert's a true freshman. And then we've had several other guys just from a standpoint of being good guys on the field and working and practicing like that, helping us tremendously every day. But those two guys you can look for, particularly Gary Ransom, because you can see him covering a kick or being on punt return or something. If not this Saturday, certainly in the future.
What's the travel plans for this weekend?
We are going to do our walkthroughs here on Friday morning, and then I believe our bus is pulling out here about 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon. We will go to the stadium for a walk around, not a walkthrough, for a walk around, so our players can see it and see what their lockers are. We play someplace that we don't play a lot in. I like to do that. We did that a year ago, Kentucky. And then we'll go to the hotel and have a meal and have some meetings Friday night, get up Saturday morning and have a breakfast and go to the stadium and go play. I like the early games. I quite frankly, I do. And when I was in the Big Ten as an assistant, and at Wisconsin, we had 11 a.m. start when we were the home team because of Central Time. That was felt like you had some of your day at the end of the day. Especially when Zach was young then, and you get a chance to go home and spend time that way. And when I was at Arizona and had all those night games, it takes years off your life. So if I had to pick one or the other, I'll take the day games.